Turning to Afghanistan, our emergency relief coordinator, Tom Fletcher, said in a statement today that the devastating earthquake is the latest crisis to expose the cost of shrinking resources on vital humanitarian work. He noted that within hours of the earthquake, OCHA's pooled funds OCHA's pool funds released $10 million to kickstart the response. The de facto authorities have quickly responded, and countries are generously providing relief supplies and critical funding items. But if this isn't enough, Mr. Fletcher warned, stressing that failing to rally resources now will mean deeper suffering and more lives lost.
How are you delivering aid to these survivors?
First is that the needs are urgent. Tens of thousands of families are living outside in makeshift shelters, and they're fearful of aftershocks. And with winter approaching fast, we need to act equally fast. The second key message is that we must seize this crisis as an opportunity to build back better, to reduce vulnerabilities, to restore hope and strengthen stability. And this requires not just the short-term humanitarian assistance, but longer-term investments in resilience. Experience of what is happening on the ground. Now, as everyone, the poorest are usually the most affected, whether it's by earthquakes or floods or any of these major disasters. The poorest are the ones who build houses close to riverbanks. And so when there are floods and flash floods, they're the ones who suffer. The poorest are the ones in Herat and here in these villages who have mud houses. The poorest are the ones who don't have assets. And so when there's an economic shock, when they lose their jobs, they have nothing to fall back on. Addressing that requires us to deal with those structural issues of poverty and unemployment in Afghanistan. Question, and this is why I mentioned that yes, those restrictions exist. And yes, they have an impact on our work. They limit our ability to recruit female staff, which is essential to reach women and girls that are in need. And this also undermines the country's longer-term recovery, because the country is excluding half of the population from education, from employment, from public life. So this will set back Afghanistan's development. And it's also a challenge to our humanitarian relief efforts. Already knows, on August 31st at close to midnight, there was. That said, I want to address directly the reports that in the context of the recent earthquake, women are being prevented from receiving emergency medical care. We have looked into this very carefully. What we're finding is that these appear to be isolated incidents, excesses committed by a few local actors, rather than a systematic restriction. For example, a trustworthy source at the Nangarhar hospital confirmed that around 20 women were evacuated by helicopter from Kunar province and admitted for treatment. Similarly, I spoke with my WHO colleague earlier today, and he indicated that in the affected area, all critically injured patients, including women, were being transferred for health treatment without restriction, depending solely on the severity of their injuries. So while the restrictions on women remain a broad structural issue, in this specific earthquake response, we have not seen evidence of a systematic ban on women either participating in the relief efforts or receiving urgent medical care.
In the region, our office is covering 4 provinces. Entire community is just living outside. They are afraid to come back. More than 300 shelters has been destroyed or damaged, and it's natural that people are afraid to coming back. And
because they afraid that earthquake will repeat again. And actually that happened yesterday when we had another very strong earthquake or aftershock, whatever you call it, and that caused additional damages, multiplying already delivered destruction.